Good evening. You know, I've stopped gooning for about 2 months now, and dare I say, I'm better. I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm more intelligent, I think better, I look better, I smell better. Even the way I dress is better. Look at my skin complexion, I'm glowing. And mate, don't even get me started of what I can do behind the scenes. You see, I was recently spending time with a girl, right? And she gave me the nickname of my quad. She called my shit the undying dick, the infinite dick, destructive dick destroyer of worlds. You know what I'm saying? I was like, baby, chill. I appreciate the kind words, but calm down, G. Calm down, G. And to be honest, you know, I was actually in Melbourne recently, and if you guys know anything about malatang, that's like hot pot, but like in a bowl. They cook it for you, and you don't have to do the cooking process. And a famous chain in Melbourne is actually called Dragon Hot Pot, right? And then one of my shawties, she just kept saying, please, I want Dragon Hot Pot. And then I looked at her and I said, that's not the only dragon you're getting tonight. You see, all of a sudden when I stopped gooning, everything just increased in my life. Everything. My money, my intelligence, my sperm cell count. It's just, life is great when you stop gooning. You know what I mean? Because a man who traces lust has no self-trust. You know what I mean? Think about it like this. You see, a man who chases lust drinks water from the sea. Always thirsty, never quenched. You know what I mean? And to be honest, ever since I've stopped gooning, it's just like, I feel like I understand life now, you know? I just recently watched Demon Slayer, and if you guys watched the Infinity Castle movie, when Tanjiro, he enters this state called the transparent state, where he doesn't show off killing intent. Therefore, the enemy can't see him coming. Because everything Tanjiro wants to do, everything Tanjiro wants to pursue, becomes natural. He is and he isn't. Like I am, but I'm not. I used to goon, but I don't. Are you connecting the dots? Me neither. Anyways, look, I feel like I'm in a transparent state of myself, because every time I think about gooning, there is no lust. I can just goon to goon. You know what I mean? Why do people chase money? Why do people chase fame? Because they want to do it for themselves. But when you start doing things just to do things, you realize everything becomes your thing. Remember, don't think too much about it, but just think about it. You see, I guess that's the answer to life. I guess athletes get into this state called the flow state, when things just become as is. That's what you need to be, my friend. That's what we need to be. In life, you can never chase something so hard that you lose yourself. As I've been saying, when you chase something just cause, just as is, for what reason, I don't know. You don't know. Just cause. Things come naturally. Don't think too much. Because when you think too much, you lose sight of who you actually are. Clouded with thoughts in your mind, you don't know who you are. Because are you your thoughts, or are you your actions? Have a think about that. To be honest, I've been pondering myself. Am I my thoughts, or am I my actions? And this is an age-old question passed down from history, from time to time. It was actually one of the first philosophical questions first presented to Socrates, Zeus, Belu, and Aristotle. Great philanthropists, great philosophers of our time. You know, some things are meant to be asked and some things aren't meant to be asked. But this question right here, you need to ask yourself, who are you? And why are you you? Are you your thoughts or are you your actions? Side note, I look mad good right now. I wonder if that's because I stopped gooning. Once I stopped gooning, I've just become as is, just handsome. I didn't want to be handsome. I just am. Leather jacket, $1.8 thousand, Acne Studios. But did I buy it because it was Acne Studios? Yes, but do I look cool? Yes, as is. Back to the question, so I've been pondering about, am I my thoughts or am I my actions? My thoughts are quite, let's just say, I be thinking. And sometimes my thoughts aren't exactly the best of thoughts. Sometimes it's devilish. Sometimes I'm an angel. Sometimes I'm that. Sometimes I'm this. I'm never as is. So, what are we? We are our actions. When you base yourself upon your actions, that shows who you truly are. A man who helps 100 but thinks of killing 100 compared to a man who killed 100 but thinks of helping 100. Who's the better man? It is actually never the intention, it is the result. A famous man once said, when life was hard, my dick was harder. And y'all don't really understand when you truly, break it down. When you break down a quote like that of mesmerizing altitude, you start to realize it's not just as is. There's layers, man. There's like an onion layer to this. Once you peel back the layers, you start to realize, why do men have a strong dick? Not because they got good sexual health, but because they got a strong mind. They know who they are. They're confident in what they are. They are as is. Only when you realize you are as is, you can start gaining the weapon of destruction. You can then start to gain the undying dick, the infinite dick, and last of all, the destructive dick, destroyer of worlds. Do you know what I mean? So, I wonder how I'll be once I stop gooning for 6 months. Maybe I'll be a god. Maybe I'll be truly as is.